All right. Well, welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. You again, we have guests on here, but there's a lot of times that we have requests from Molly and I just to do our bantering back and forth. And we hear so often, I wish I had a sister. You guys are so lucky. And so while we know we are lucky, we really want this to be something that you feel like we're your sisters, right? That you can sit and banter with us, or maybe something resonates with you when we are actually talking just a little bit. I'm making sure this microphone, I feel like I'm getting giraffe neck here. So
nothing wrong with giraffe neck. An elongated neck
that.
Always looks good. The wrinkles are gone when you elongate the neck.
Yes, true. Yes, speaking of the neck wrinkles. Well, we won't even go there. That's a conversation for another day. But I had a conversation when I was doing a listing appointment, and my client had decided, she's in her 50s, and she and her husband kind of looked at each other one day and were like, life is too short. And we really want to see what it looks like to live outside of Lincoln, outside of Omaha, outside of wherever they were living. And so many of us, as we know, we just have gotten stuck in the matrix or the grind or whatever, right? The daily. And when we think, gosh, when I get on my deathbed and, however many years, am I going to regret not taking a chance, not taking a chance and then expecting great things to happen? So I told Molly today, I'm like, this is how we roll. I'm like, we're going to talk about living in expectation. So they decided they wanted to move. They put their house on the market, which is enter me, right? Coming in, helping her declutter, get some things out. And we really started to think, she voiced her doubts to me, right? Like, I don't know if this is going to work out. And that is where we started to talk about living in expectation. And I said, of course it's going to work out. Of course it's going to work out.
Exactly, because that's all in your mindset, right? Your outer world will reflect what your inner world is feeling. So why wouldn't you feel everything's going to work out for me in the most miraculous ways? Like, I'm expecting it's going to be magical, whatever way magical is.
Yes. And so living in that expectation, I think that is what keeps so many people back is, I would love to do this, but what if I fail? I would love to do this, but I don't know all the details, right?
Exactly.
And so we kind of like when you get pregnant and you're like, I don't even know how this is all going to come together, right? I'm pregnant. I don't know how these next 9 months are going to look, but we walk in expectation that we're going to have a beautiful baby in your arms in 9 months. And that is how you have to look at decisions that you make, even about moving to New Mexico on a whim. Like, you have to step out in expectation, expecting great things, knowing that it's not always going to be easy, or there may be challenges, but you expect that you can easily tackle those, that you're going to meet the right people along the way to have the outcome and the miracles, as we say.
Yes.
Happen.
I just met with a friend at Stir Coffee. I'm going to give you a little shout out here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Love Stir.
And they make such great matcha drinks. But anyway, I loved when we met. Her 4 kids are grown. She has left education and higher up education, right, as a principal, gone off, created her own thing. But now she's really in this season of where she wants to live abroad. And that's what connected us, because I also want to live abroad and at least start with a month. But we talked about, like, where would we go and what would we do? And I said to her, well, why have you not done it? Your 4 kids are grown. You've launched everyone successfully. No one is out of the house. Unfortunately, her parents are both gone. But she's like, there is nothing keeping me to Omaha. Like, I can go. But of course, what is it? Fear of the unknown, fear of what if it doesn't work, fear of, oh my gosh, what if we put our house up on the market and it doesn't sell, or it sells and then we have nothing to come back to? All the logistics, that's where we get so stuck. And believe me, I do it too. I get so stuck in well, how is this going to play out? And then what if this, and let me make sure it's like all strategy, which, there's strategy in this, but also we always talk about this, it's faith, blind faith, like trusting the unknown. That's why it's called faith. You don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like, and maybe it's because I'm in that season of attracting people like that. That is every single appointment I had yesterday was people wanting to live abroad. I feel like I'm living on International House Hunters in the flesh. Everyone that knows me knows that is my guilty pleasure. It's been ever since Sophie was in 5th grade, and my husband walk in and he would be like, okay, where are you moving to this week? And are you riding a donkey to school and selling your car? And I'm like, yes, we're moving to Nicaragua. We're selling everything. And so I've always had a heart for travel. I've always had a heart for the exchange students. But back to meeting with my friend Danny, it's exactly what she was experiencing is managing your expectations. I'm like, but what if what if it works out better than you expected? I mean, honestly, but wouldn't you expect great things? So that's just another example of here's somebody that's getting in their own way of wanting to go. Her husband is in real estate. So it's like, can you leave real estate though and work it remotely? And they are figuring out a way to do that. So I just love that. So I'm like, if you haven't read the book, Everything is Figure Outable, it's so good. And it is. Everything is figure outable.
Yes.
You never know what is going to happen. So I'm going to return back to our story of wanting to live abroad here, but I'm going to bounce it back over to Amy.
Yes. And see, and Molly and I, we have said we're going to live abroad. And she keeps saying, well, if you aren't going to do it, I'm going to for sure. And I admit I'm struggling a little bit with the how. I have a real estate business here. I have like all the things. And so the expectations, I'm getting stuck in the details. And so that is what is really causing resistance. And so me getting stuck in the details, I am not attracting the people that want to live overseas because Molly is. I mean, it is.
Yeah, I'm letting her off the hook with kindness and love. I'm like, just so you know, like I am totally good on my own. I'm like, I don't want you to feel like I'm going to disappoint my sister. And I'm like, now is the best time. This is the best season to go. And what's the worst thing that's going to happen? We come back 2 weeks early. I mean, honestly, like.
Well, and for me, it's like, what's the worst that can happen is I miss a real estate sale. And let me tell you, I have traveled enough. I miss a listing, and I have lived my entire life that way. I mean, I've done mission work in Guatemala for 15 years. I've gone 15 times, 12 years. And so I've always thought that every single time I've gone, like I want to be present. I'm turning my phone off. But I may miss a call and I may miss a listing. And guess what? I have. And some really, really huge, huge listings. Right. And so that is me having to expect miracles, to expect amazing things. And even as we're talking here, I'm like, when Molly said this, what if it's the very best thing that ever happens to us? What if we meet that next big a friend that like we have this amazing idea. We're both very, very entrepreneurial, and we are creating a community all over the world and a women's movement. We're so excited about it. What if we meet the person that is exactly who we're supposed to meet? And Molly's like, yes, that's why you need to get on.
But you've also had to manage your expectation because you have been present in Guatemala, and both of us have done multiple trips down there. And where you did miss a massive listing. I mean, it was a very lucrative listing, but it turned out even better than what you expected.
Exactly.
At the moment, was it hard? Yes.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I think, again, going back to as we coach and we visit with others about going in with expectant greatness, with expectant miracles, right? It is that mindset. It is putting squelching the naysayers, because let me tell you, when you talk to people about it, they're going to say, well, how can you do that?
How can you do that?
You have a business, you have a husband, you have right? Like, how can you leave your husband first?
Yes, I did leave last year. I did Machu Picchu and Galapagos, and it was absolutely incredible. Again, it was on my vision board to do Machu Picchu for so many years. And so I finally got to do it. And when I got to the Galapagos Islands, you guys, this has been a dream on my heart since I was in college. I'm a biology major, and I called my professor who is still alive, Dr. Dappin from Nebraska Wesleyan, and at the time last year. And I said, oh my gosh, I I am finally here. Like, I have finally made it. And it was better
What
than
was the bird
even
you wanted to see? The booby bird?
the blue-footed booby.
Blue-footed booby
I know. I know. Amy would not have fared well in the Galapagos, but I had to see it, and it was absolutely incredible. And I'm so glad that I finally pulled the trigger and went. So living abroad, what does that look like? You know, I don't know, but I oddly enough had a dear friend from physical therapy school who was in Portugal and said, you know what you should do? Because I really want to live in with the people. I've traveled Europe. I've done it a lot and I love it. But I want to unpack my suitcase. I want to get to know the people. So I don't want to be in Tuscany in the middle of nowhere. I love Tuscany. It's gorgeous. You know, Cortona and Montepulciano and all these beautiful cities that you can drive up to. But I want to live in a village, in a city where you get to know people, where I'm going to go get my bread. Yes, I'm going to eat bread in Europe. And I'm going to go get my bread and I'm going to get my wine and I'm going to ride my bike with a squeaky seat because I'm going to know a basket on the front. And it's not going to be a new bike. It's not going to be a tri-bike either. It's not going to be anything fast. It's just going to be, you know, where you stop it by backwards pedaling, if you will. So I'm like, that is what I want to ride. But I want to get to know the people. This isn't a vacation per se. It is, I want to stay and live and get to know the culture. I want to slow down a little bit. I want to
create a work day. The great thing about staying there for that long is that, and it's 7 hours time difference.
Right.
And so by the time that everybody here in the States is getting up and, you know,
ready for their work day,
it's already mid to late afternoon there.
Right.
And so we will have done all of our beautiful morning things. We will have gotten bread on our bikes with our baskets.
I'll be waiting for Amy patiently waiting.
I will not wear my heels. Or you say because I won't be there.
Or maybe you will. You will. No, I will be patiently waiting. It won't be a workout. It'll just be a nice little.
That's the thing. We are not training for a triathlon while we're there, are we?
No, we're not. Somebody said, are you going to work out there? And I said, no. I mean, I'll probably like run and like go to yoga and Pilates or like, they were like, oh, so not do anything. I said, well, I'm not going to go like swim and bike. I'm going to, or probably play tennis. But, you know, I'm going to go, you know, find a yoga class or something fun. But living like that, here my friend said, you know what you should do? You should dog sit. Now, keep in mind, I don't have a dog at all, but I really do love dogs.
She is our best dog sitter. Yes, I will tell you, our dog wears a diaper at 14 years old, and we just change her, you know, like a couple. She's kind of like
sparingly.
A cat.
We'll use the word sparingly.
But Molly, when I come in after Molly's dog sat for 48 hours, she's used the whole batch of diapers.
Yeah, that dog is well cared for. So I don't know what the qualifications are, but ironically, a girl I play tennis with, of all things.
I don't know that you meet them.
Literally said, I'm flying to my best friend's wedding. We've been best friends since I was born. And I'm like, tell me about her. And she's like, well, she was a teacher and now she's a meditation coach. And we're actually going to have her on the podcast. And her and her future husband, that's what they do. And they dog sit
really cool
over the world. And she has stayed in the most incredible places. So I'm telling you, this is all about managing your expectations, I know, but it's also about manifesting your expectations of, if your external world, I said that in the beginning, will reflect what's going on internally. So your radar is heightened, right, to attract those people that are going to help you find that magical place that you want to stay. So I'm like, well, I don't know if I will check their boxes, but I'm certainly capable as long as they're okay if we leave for the weekend. Like, you know, maybe we'll find a weekend person.
I'll give you a good reference.
Yes. But I'm like, during the day, I mean, we're going to be working. We're going to be living with the people and working, and it's going to be amazing. I mean, I can hardly wait. So kind of like the woman in New Mexico and my friend who is ready to go do something, build retreats. And you guys, that is what is so exciting is you can really, truly, unless your hands are physically on people. And that was my old lifestyle, right? Being a sports medicine physical therapist, the only way I could earn an income is to have my hands on people. But even in physical therapy, there's so much online. So it is even getting creative with where you are. Do you have something that is just like drawing you in and you're like, you know what? What's the worst that's going to happen? I mean, so I try this thing. So I build an online platform. I mean, Amy and I are not techie at all, but we figure things out.
Yes.
You know, we built a website. We built a coaching program. we started this podcast 2 years ago. I mean, all the things, we figured it out along the way. We did not know what it looked like before, but we just knew we had this heart to inspire and impact more people. I heard Oprah say that legacy isn't about what you leave behind. It's about the people you impact along the way.
Yes.
So that to me resonates with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that so resonates with me. I love that. A little story time here. I just got rid of my very first bike that I purchased in cash. Like, I remember how proud I felt in my 30s to buy this very
She's been threatening to get rid of it for years.
I couldn't. So this very lovely, expensive road bike, but I hadn't ridden it in a while. And I just was like, every year I'd be like, I should probably sell it. And it's like a new car, right? The minute you take it off the lot, it's worth zero, but it's more what I endured on that bike. You know, my first half Ironman, my first sprint triathlon, my first sprint triathlon. I actually rented a bike. Back in those days, you could do that. But I mean, multiple triathlons, sprints, Olympics, years of time spent on that bike, triple bypass, this race through 3 mountain passes in Colorado. And the cool thing is, out of the blue, on the 4th of July, I get a text from a friend saying, hey, this is a weird question, especially on the holiday weekend, but do you happen to have a bike that would be available for my daughter, Anna? And you guys, the backstory, this is all about impact, is I coached her daughter, Anna, in Girls on the Run. I love it when I've done it multiple times, when people ask me to be their daughter's coach for Girls on the Run. And for those of you that don't know, it's an after-school program. They run 2 days a week, and then 8 weeks later, there is a 5K run. And it's so fun to see these girls just gain confidence. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to run the whole thing, but just they figure out how confident they can actually become, because what's happening is they're investing a little bit in themselves each time. They're going a little bit further. They're running a little bit longer. And so I love that I coached her daughter in 5th grade, which makes you, I don't know, 10 years old maybe.
Yeah.
And now nearly 10 years later, a decade later, she wants to do triathlons because she's seen me do it for 23 years. And I love that's why I'm so excited about impact, about, you know, what you can do for others, investing in others. And so what if that same thing, you know, those stories happen because you say yes to the very thing that you're like, boy, should I move to New Mexico and sell everything? Yes. Why not?
Yes. And going back to your triathlon story, I think one of my favorite things, because I do have a brother-in-law who is the kindest human on the face of the earth. And when she asked if you would sell the bike, your husband said, you know, we would take very little for it, but if that's too much, just give it to her. I loved that he said that, you know, like just, you know, like if you can get something, fine, but if not, if there, you know, if there's some reason that you feel it.
Exactly.
And so again, just even more a bigger piece of that impact, and that's how we live our lives.
And that's managing your expectation too.
Yeah.
I didn't need to, and I even said this on my social media, what do you need to release, right? Like, what is it that you need to release? Because I promise you, when you release something better even comes into your life. And so as silly as a bike seems, my triathlon friends get it, because I was kind of commiserating with them, and they're like, I know, my husband sold my bike right out from underneath me. And, you know, and it was a steel frame, and, you know, we go through all these things, but what happens is even more abundance flows in when you can release that thing that you're holding on to and you don't know why. So whether it's releasing the practicality of living in Nebraska because it's a good life, and it is a good life, it's a great life, and it's affordable housing and all the things, it's like, you know what? This is your opportunity to go. I think another great example is, I'm thinking of the kids, because I was just telling our fill-in producer, Brock, since Dylan is gone, but we were talking about soccer stadiums and soccer arenas, and our son, Sam, is a huge soccer fan. And so when Amy's daughter and husband took their honeymoon, and they got married December 30th, so they honeymooned in January, I love that our son last minute was like, with his girlfriend, who now is his wife, when they just last minute, they decided we're going for it. We're going to go to London. They only had 5 days. That was it. She's a teacher, so they didn't have a whole lot of time to go, but they made it work. And
They
went
flew over
to
to meet my daughter. My daughter and Molly's son are
13 days apart. And the best of friends.
They've been best friends their entire lives. So yeah, they met my daughter and her husband on their honeymoon to go to
Yes.
a soccer game.
A soccer match. Newcastle and I think Man City.
Yes.
Is what they went to. And so, I mean, most people would be like, that is so silly to waste all that money flying over and only be there 5 days.
And you know what else people think? It's wintertime. What happens if you get stuck
Yes.
with the snow in Chicago, whatever, right? All the things, expectations.
Yes.
That didn't even cross your kids' minds because we have taught them that you
Yes.
just expect the best when you travel. You expect to be upgraded. You expect easy and effortless. You expect to meet somebody.
Always the upgrade. Always expect the upgrade. Always.
And always expect to meet somebody sitting next to you that you become friends with. And
Right.
yeah, stay in touch with regarding traveling or
Yes.
selling them real estate.
Yes, you have.
The traveling expectation too. I love that. My daughter and I decided we're going to surprise her husband and my husband with a trip to Pebble Beach recently. And we called just the day of, and because we always expect great service. We always expect to get the best room. We always expect upgrades. And so when we called, I talked to the gentleman and I said, this is a mother and daughter. We're having a glass of wine. We would like to surprise our husbands with a trip to Pebble Beach. And Pebble Beach, as I understand it, it's hard to get onto both courses, Spyglass and Pebble Beach, the same time. It takes some coordinating, and certainly it takes longer than 3 weeks. But we were able to surprise them with a trip in 3 weeks at great tea times in the hotel, the Spanish Inn, I believe it's called.
You're like, I don't even know where I booked.
I just know Pebble Beach is
It's
the
really
number
the
one.
holiday, and she just missed the word
I know.
Spanish.
My husband's like, did you get Pam? But my husband's like, how did you get us the best room, the optimal tea times in the morning before it got too hot, the 18th hole restaurant overlooking when the at sunset, but that's what happens to us all the time because that's what we expect.
Yes.
We expect it. That's when we call to make the reservations, of course we say, does there happen to be any upgrades? Or when we check in, does there happen to be any upgrades? Or is there any way we could get a caddy? Is there any way? All of the things.
Right.
Because that is what we expect when traveling. And it truly is what happens to us. And even if, of course, flights get canceled, right? Or things get rerouted.
Right.
And that happened to my daughter just yesterday. She flew to Denver. There was bad weather. She had to fly right back. But she's like, Mom, I am so glad that you raised us to not get all bent out of shape. She said there were adults ranting and raving and doing the craziest things because there were high winds and they couldn't fly out of Denver like it was the United workers' fault. That is managing your expectations. That is, and guess what? My daughter got home. She got a full refund. It was a little inconvenient. They gave her, some free food, but that is expecting things, even with speed bumps, expecting everything will work out in the most miraculous way. And again, managing the expectations and circling back around to the woman who, my client who's selling her house and moving to New Mexico. The photographer came in as we were getting the house all staged, who Molly and I graduated from high school with, by the way. And she had just started her photograph business, her real estate photograph business. And I said to her, Tracy, I am so proud of you for starting your real estate photography business in her 50s. She has taken over the market. I mean, she is just doing quality, amazing work. She's hard to get into. And she said, you know what? It crossed my mind. What if this doesn't work? What if I fail? Mm-hmm. What if I quit this job that I, have a 401k and I have invested in? And she's like, I decided to change my mindset. And she did give credit to Molly and I because she listens to all of our stuff. Now, I think she was just doing that because But she's like, I had to make a decision that failing wasn't an option. I expected to succeed. I expected to take over, business in this already it was very monopolized by a fabulous photographer. Now we have two fabulous photographers, and so again, that was just another quitting a job, expecting great things, not expecting to lose your 401k, to lose,
Right.
to not have your business succeed. It is managing expectations. And you have to surround yourself with people that are talking the same way.
Right. If you don't want it, don't think it. I always say
Yes.
that. Like, why would you even say that if you don't want it? So it's, once again, your external world is a reflection of your inner world. You'll never attract what you want. You'll attract who you're being. And that is exactly it. Like, are you someone who expects to find a whole new group of friends in New Mexico and a new life in New Mexico? Then guess what? You're probably going to attract some people that are living there who, you know, someone's going to be a connector and say, you've got to meet my cousin. She lives in New Mexico and you're going to absolutely love her. And that leads to a job, a different career. I mean, you just never know. You never know.
Yes. One of the other things too is don't take advice from somebody who is not where you want to be, or who doesn't have the
Yes.
bank account that you want to have, any of that. Because let me tell you, it's easy to, this again, managing your expectations. I don't think you always need to tell people where you're going, what you're doing, because I think moving in silence.
Or be selective. Be
Yes.
selective.
With who you tell
Yeah.
them. Because I have mentioned to someone some of my dreams, and well, how are you going to be able to do that? And again, they are
Right.
They are W-2 employees. They're not entrepreneurs. They're not somebody who's lived their entire life making career moves based on 100% faith. That's how I've lived my life. So why would I take advice from somebody who's never ever been 100% commission, or never ever left a job that they've been out for 30, 35
Exactly.
years?
Don't take advice from somebody more messed up than you.
That's what we
is
say.
just the easy way to think of that.
Exactly. So it all goes back to expectations, and that is, every day is a lesson. And when Molly and I visit about these podcasts, and on our Wednesday morning calls, we talked about expectations. So we host a call. We'll put the information in our show notes, but every Wednesday at 5:30 a.m. And today it was on
Central Time.
But we'll have it all over as we have in the past on all the different time zones at some point.
Yes.
Watch us, because
So
we're going there.
Yes, if you ever want to join us, the greatest thing is when we're in Europe, it'll be, 2:30 in the afternoon. So it'll be, or 1:30 or whatever time. Clearly, I can't do the math really well. So
Instead of
I guess
having
it would be
coffee with our
12:30.
morning,
Yes.
or tea with our morning calls, we may be having a glass of champagne as we leave them.
We absolutely might. And so with that, what we always ask every guest, and I think what's so pertinent to ask you as well is what does, our podcast is called Meet Me in the Penthouse, and what does it mean to you to be living in the penthouse? And you can view that the way you want to, but we view it as, you know what? Life is so good. And when you live in the penthouse, you're surrounded by incredible humans, because you know why? Because you're one of them. So you've chosen to live this elevated, expanded life. And that's what it means to us. But really think about that for you as you go about your day and you've listened to this, is what does it mean to you to be living in the penthouse? Are you on floor 4? Or are you in the basement where your Amazon packages are being stolen? Or are you on floor 4 where, it's not bad. It's okay. I mean, how many times do I hear that a day?
Yeah.
Like, my life is good.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
well, dang, I was put on this earth to do more than just okay and be okay. So
Yeah.
everyone is different. But just remember, if you're wanting that penthouse frequency, just keep listening, keep following us. And yes, we always have events and we always have opportunities to actually coach with us. And so we look forward to serving you on whatever platform that is, on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. And feel free to share this episode.
And give us 5-star reviews.
Yes, there we go. And 5-star reviews. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Meet Me in the Penthouse. And we would love to have you follow us at www.sistersnextdoor.com.
Anywhere that you listen to your podcast, please feel free to give us 5 stars, because we know you're going to find us fabulous, and pass this along to any friends that you know would enjoy this episode.